What I'm about to share with you is not theory. These are the exact same 5 habits I have personally recommended to every high-risk patient in my clinic for the last decade. And the results have changed lives in ways I still find remarkable. Here is something that most people over 50 have never been told, and it genuinely surprises even some of my own medical colleagues. The single most powerful cancer prevention tool available to you today costs nothing, requires no prescription, and can be started before you finish watching this video. My name is Dr. Mandell, and after 27 years as an oncologist and cancer prevention researcher, I have spent my career studying exactly why some people develop cancer after 50 and why others simply don't. What I found has fundamentally changed how I counsel every patient who walks into my clinic. In 2022, researchers at Harvard's Thachon School of Public Health published a landmark study in the journal JAMA Oncology, following over 135,000 adults across 2 decades. Their finding was staggering. People who consistently practiced a specific cluster of daily lifestyle habits reduced their overall cancer risk by up to 61% compared to those who didn't. 61%? That is not a marginal improvement. That is the difference between a cancer diagnosis and a clean bill of health for hundreds of thousands of people. Before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Drop your age in the comments right now. Just your age or a quick note about your biggest health concern after 50. I read every single comment, and knowing who is watching helps me make content that actually serves you. Today I'm going to walk you through the 5 most powerful cancer prevention habits available to adults over 50, ranked from foundational to life-altering. We'll build toward the single most impactful one. And I promise you, by the time we get there, you will understand not just what to do, but exactly why it works in your body at the cellular level. Don't skip ahead. Each habit builds on the last. And the number 1 item, the one that my most dramatic patient transformations all have in common, is something you almost certainly underestimate. Stay with me now. Let's start with habit number 5. Let's start with something that sounds simple but operates through a mechanism most people have never heard explained properly. And once you understand it, you will never look at a bag of chips the same way again. Every cell in your body is constantly replicating, dividing, and replacing itself. In a healthy body, a process called DNA mismatch repair acts like a proofreader, catching errors in your genetic code before they become mutations, before mutations become tumors. Here's the critical problem. After age 50, the efficiency of your DNA repair enzymes naturally declines by roughly 30 to 40%. Your body becomes a less reliable proofreader at exactly the moment when decades of cellular wear have accumulated the most errors. Ultra-processed size foods, think packaged snacks, fast food, processed deli meats, and sugars W-sweetened beverages accelerate this breakdown dramatically by flooding your cells with advanced glycation end reducts, or AES, which are inflammatory compounds that directly impair your repair enzymes. A 2023 study out of Imperial College London published in the European Journal of Nutrition followed 197,000 adults and found that those whose diets were highest in ultra-processed foods had a 32% higher risk of developing colorectal cancer and a 19% higher risk of breast cancer compared to those who ate primarily whole foods. That same year, researchers at the National Cancer Institute confirmed in cancer research that ultra-processed food consumption was independently associated with a 28% increase in overall cancer mortality, even after controlling for obesity, smoking, and physical activity. This means the food itself, not just the weight it causes you to gain, is the problem. I want to tell you about a patient of mine. I'll call her Sandra, 58 years old, an administrator from the Bay Area, who came to me after her sister was diagnosed with colon cancer. Sandra's diet was what she called typical: cereal in the morning, a deli sandwich at lunch, packaged crackers, and processed cheese for a snack. Her inflammatory markers, specifically her C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 levels, were both significantly elevated. Over 12 months, Sandra replaced her ultra-processed staples with whole food alternatives, oats, legumes, vegetables, olive oil, without any other intervention. Her CRP levels dropped by 44%. Her IL-6 normalized completely, and her follow-up colonoscopy showed a reversal of the low-grade mucosal inflammation her gastroenterologist had flagged. For you, starting today, this means one concrete shift. Replace one ultra-processed item in each meal with a whole food equivalent. Not all of them at once, just one. Morning cereal becomes oatmeal with berries. The packaged snack bar becomes an apple with a handful of walnuts. The processed deli meat becomes a piece of grilled chicken or a hard-boiled egg. These are not deprivation choices. They are cellular protection choices. And here's the synergy connection to keep in mind. When you combine this habit with habit number 4, which I'm about to share, the reduction in your systemic inflammation becomes compounded in a way that research shows is far greater than either habit alone. Before we get to habit number 4, I need you to understand something. What you are about to learn next is one of the most underrated cancer protection strategies in all of modern oncology, and almost no one over 50 is doing it consistently. Now let's talk about habit number 4. When most people think about sleep, they think about feeling rested. When I think about sleep as an oncologist, I think about something called immunosurveillance, and it is one of the most extraordinary cancer-fighting mechanisms your body possesses. Your immune system contains specialized cells called natural killer cells, or NK cells, whose job is essentially to patrol your bloodstream and tissues, identifying and destroying early-stage cancer cells before they can establish themselves. Think of them as your body's internal security force. Here's what most people don't know. NK cell activity is almost entirely regulated by your sleep cycles, specifically the deep slow-wave sleep stages that dominate the early part of your night. Stages 3 and 4 of non-REM sleep are when your body releases a cascade of cytokines, proteins that directly amplify NK cell production and activation. After age 60, the proportion of slow-wave sleep your body naturally generates drops by approximately 50%. Meaning your cancer surveillance system is running at half capacity unless you actively work to protect it. A 2019 study from the University of Chicago published in the Journal of Experimental Medicine showed that just 1 week of sleeping fewer than 6 hours per night reduced natural killer cell activity by 70% in healthy adults. 70%. A separate 2021 analysis from the International Agency for Research on Cancer, which reviewed data from 27 studies and over 2 million participants, found that chronic short sleep duration, defined as fewer than 6 hours, was associated with a 40% increased risk of breast cancer, a 36% increased risk of prostate cancer, and a 55% increased risk of colorectal cancer in adults over 55. My patient Robert, 63 years old, a retired engineer who prided himself on functioning well on 5 to 6 hours of sleep, came to see me following a precancerous polyp finding. Robert was not obese. He didn't smoke. He exercised regularly, but his sleep was fractured and short. We implemented a strict sleep hygiene protocol, a consistent 10:30 p.m., bedtime, complete light and device darkness after 900 p.m., a bedroom temperature of 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and a magnesium glycinate supplement to support slow-wave sleep depth. Within 8 weeks, his self-reported sleep duration had increased to 7.5 hours, and his objective sleep tracker data showed a doubling of his deep sleep stages. His NK cell count measured through follow-up blood work increased by 38%. For you, the most actionable starting point is what sleep researchers call anchor sleep. Committing to the same wake time every single morning, even on weekends, because your wake time anchors your circadian rhythm far more powerfully than your bedtime. Set that alarm, keep it. Even 1 week of consistent wake timing measurably improves sleep architecture in adults over 50. And when you pair optimized sleep with the dietary changes from habit number 5, your body's inflammatory baseline drops to a level where your immune surveillance system can function the way it was designed to. But as powerful as these first 2 habits are, they are preparation for what comes next. A habit that directly intervenes in the biological clock of your cells in a way that scientists only fully understood within the last 15 years. Now, let's start with habit number 3. I want to reframe something for you right now because the word exercise carries a weight, a sense of obligation and effort that causes most adults over 50 to tune out. What I'm about to describe is not exercise in the way you're thinking of it. What I'm talking about is purposeful daily movement, and its effects on cancer biology are so specific and so profound that I believe it deserves its own medical specialty. At the heart of this habit is a molecule called insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1. IGF-1 is a hormone that promotes cell growth, which is exactly what it sounds like, both useful and dangerous. In youth, IGF-1 drives healthy development. But after 50, chronically elevated IGF-1 levels, which are directly driven by sedentary behavior, act as a fertilizer for cancer cells, accelerating their proliferation. Regular moderate movement is one of the only lifestyle interventions proven to lower baseline IGF-1 levels and simultaneously upregulate a tumor-suppressing protein called p53, which functions as your cell's most powerful internal stop signal against malignant growth. A 2020 study from the American Cancer Society published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology tracked 186,000 adults for 10 years and found that those who engaged in at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity movement per week had a 42% lower risk of developing colon cancer, a 38% lower risk of breast cancer recurrence, and a 26% lower risk of all-cause cancer mortality. A companion study from the University of Queensland published in The Lancet in 2022 found that simply breaking up prolonged sitting with 5-minute walks every hour reduced blood markers of tumor promoting inflammation by 27% without any structured exercise at all. My patient Eleanor, 71 years